artistic backgrounds, and they learned about Cinecittà, which was outside of California, the largest movie studio in the world at the time. And when they came to Cinecittà, the American movie makers discovered that the Italian craftspeople, the people who made the sets and costumes, the makeup, the photographers, were on a par with anything that was being done in Hollywood. They were as talented, and in some ways even more so. So they got the idea, okay, we've shown 100 movies in Italy, and we've made profit on 100 movies. We will spend all of that profit on one gigantic movie. And they made things like eventually Ben-Hur, Cleopatra, Quo Vadis, the decline and fall of the Roman Empire.
You've highlighted that there are some encouraging aspects to this survey. I mean, another one is that if you take a 3-year view, the majority of businesses are pretty confident.
Absolutely. And I think the key factor here is this is probably not a overview. This is not a snapshot of the overall UK economy. 70% of these companies are trading internationally. And this is a really important factor. These will be the motor of growth in the future. So these companies we see throughout all the markets where we're present, those which trade internationally, they grow much faster. They're more resilient. Their eggs are spread in many, many baskets. So these are the companies you need to understand their challenges because they will drive growth in the future. So you're absolutely right. There is an underlying positive sentiment for the medium term.
I guess we should point out, John, you carried out this survey prior to the mini budget and all the subsequent turmoil we've seen on financial markets.
Yes, it was a couple of weeks. The last one was September the 10th when it was done. But obviously, some of the key trends were already there. Yeah, you were already starting to see inflation. There were those other concerns, and the core concerns still remain there. The four main challenges that the SMEs are saying to us is they want to get access to new buyers overseas to increase their growth, to not be so dependent on the UK, as well as looking to diversify their supply chain. The cost of logistics, it really has become now the number one factor, both in getting the right types of supplies for the right markets, but also the cost. Regulation, whether that be in Europe or outside Europe. And that's a really important point. It's not just Brexit. Bureaucracy or regulation as number one obstacle is just as prominent whether you're dealing with China or whether you're dealing with India as with dealing with France or Spain. So they're just as prominent. And then that issue of skill set, being able to have not just people to work in your company, but people with a skill set to manage international trade, to understand how it is different from working with Poland compared to Japan, for example.
All right, John, got to leave it there. Appreciate you joining me today. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian.
Now, Addison Lee, one of London's biggest private hire companies, has announced a partnership with BP's electric vehicle charging business, BP Pulse. The deal gives its drivers access to more than 3,000 ultra-fast and rapid charging points and helps towards the company's previous commitment to have a fully electric fleet by 2023. Well, joining me now is Liam Griffin. He's the Chief Executive of Addison Lee. Liam, welcome to you. What is the importance of this deal to you?
Good morning, Ian. So we committed to go fully electric 12 months ago. We've taken delivery now of nearly 1,000 electric cars. And clearly the biggest challenge to have drivers out there in London is how do you charge those vehicles? So we've been looking for various solutions. The drivers have been very creative in how they solve this problem. But we needed something with scale and with some gravitas. And so we're pleased to say that today we've announced with BP that we're going to be partnering with them to supply cars and discounted charging rates to all of our drivers.
What are the financial terms of this? Can you give me an idea?
Not particularly. There's some commercially sensitive bits in this, but effectively, we are helping our drivers. It's tough times out there at the moment. Electricity has gone up, and this increased cost compared to when we started this project. So every bit that we can do for helping the drivers to reduce that cost is worthwhile. So the deal with BP does help us buy bulk charges, but buy bulk kilowatts. And we're passing that benefit directly onto the drivers to try and reduce their costs as much as possible.
Yeah, you mentioned the costs of this project to transition to all electric have gone up. I mean, roughly how much have you spent so far on this transition?
Well, so far we've spent £40 million on new vehicles. So, that's a serious commitment. But I think, this is about the driver. What's happened now with obviously the cost of electricity is that when we first started this project, somebody charging their car at home, it was costing under £5 to get a single charge. now, in a worst case scenario, if you're using rapid charging at some of the commercial entities, you're paying best part of £50 for that. So, the costs have significantly changed, and the dynamic of that is different. But that said, electric vehicles, it's definitely the way to go. The Mayor has committed to trying to get the UK or London into a net zero policy by 2030. We are going to do all we can to try and help that. And by going down the electric vehicle route, we're playing a significant part in helping them achieve it.
And are you going to hit your target of being fully electric by next year?
I'd love to say yes, but clearly there's supply side issues that we've had, that everybody's had. It's unlikely that we're going to get all the vehicles that we need by that time. We ordered these current batch 12 months ago and they've only just arrived. So to replace the entire fleet in time for 2023 might be pushing it a little bit.
And tell me about what you're seeing right now in the business more broadly, Liam. Obviously, fear is stalking financial markets. Is trade holding up?
Trade is very strong. I mean, I think the private hire industry per se, there's a lot of demand out there. People have come back to the office. There's pressure on people to have meetings, and people are busy again. We are, like many other industries, we are suffering from the labour shortage. That there is definitely a driver shortage across the industry within London. Optimistic that as the economy evolves, our drivers are earning incredibly well, much better than they were pre-pandemic. We lost a lot of drivers through Brexit. Other people, went off and did other things during the pandemic. They're gradually coming back. They're seeing the earning potential within the private hire industry, and we're doing all we can to encourage them back.
Good to hear business is holding up, though, Liam. Nice to have a positive note on which to end. Thanks for joining me today.
Cheers.
Well, some other business news stories for you now. And the drug maker GSK said this morning it hailed trial results for a new vaccine on which it is working as truly exceptional. The vaccine is to treat RSV, which is a common contagious virus that affects the lungs and breathing passengers and is one of the major remaining infectious diseases for which there is currently no vaccine or specific treatment available for adults. And that is despite research having been conducted on this condition for more than 60 years. Well, the trial was at the phase 3 stage, which is one of the biggest hurdles that a medicine has to jump before being sent to regulators for approval. EasyJet said this morning that ticket sales for the coming October half-term holiday and for Christmas week are running ahead of pre-pandemic levels. Well, the news came as the airline said it expected to report a pre-tax loss of between £170 million and £190 million for the year to the end of September. That includes a £64 million foreign exchange loss from balance sheet revaluations and £75 million worth of costs caused by disruption from the Omicron variant of COVID and the war in Ukraine. EasyJet expects to fly 20 million seats during the final 3 months of this year. That's up 30% on the same period last year. And the owner of bookmakers Ladbrokes and Coral said today it was looking forward to a strong end of the year thanks to the imminent Football World Cup. Entain, which also owns the online gaming brands bwin and Party Poker, said its sales during the 3 months to the end of September were up 2% on the same period a year ago. The company, which owns a US joint venture with the casino giant MGM, cited particularly strong trade in the United States thanks to a successful start to the NFL season. Now, if you're in the habit of giving children pocket money, you may well be doing so using GoHenry, which provides a prepaid debit card and app for kids and teens, and which also seeks to teach them about using money. It recently bought PixPay, the leader in teen banking in France and Spain, taking it into mainland Europe for the first time, and today it's announced it's raised $55 million in its latest funding round. Joining me now is GoHenry's founder and chief executive, Alex Zavoda. Alex, welcome to you. How are you going to be using this capital?
Good morning, Ian. We'll be using this capital to continue expanding our business across the various regions. So we're currently in the UK leader. We are in the US and through the acquisition of PixPay in France, Spain, and soon Italy. So we'll continue the expansion. We'll continue improving the product, which is a gold standard in our industry. And we want to really continue on our mission, which is to make every child, every teen good with money.
You're in the US and the UK at the moment. How many people roughly are using the cards right now?
About 2 million.
That's pretty big.
Yes, I think we've grown quite a lot since about 10 years ago when we founded the company. And we are very proud of our success. And that's just the beginning of our story.
So is the European market particularly different from the US or the UK?
I would say they are converging. So the UK is probably the most advanced of these markets, followed by the US, and in Europe, France is really catching up very quickly. We see a convergence of the needs. When you are a parent and you have children who are in our age range, so 6 to 18, you definitely think of pocket money at some stage, and you definitely will then land on GoHenry or on PixPay. So these needs will also converge because teenagers today, whether they are French, British, or Americans, pretty much consume the same thing.
And you are obviously trying also to educate kids and teens about using money, getting to grips with managing their finances. What are the sort of basic lessons that you try and get across?
Well, first of all, it depends on the age. So when you are 6, we try to tell you things that are different than when you are 16. Right? There is a huge gap and a huge evolution in the way who you are first as an individual and then how you relate to money. So if I start from the very basics, the 6, 7, 8 years old, here you really have to start with the basic messages. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money doesn't come out of the ATM. There is no someone distributing. These kind of basic things. The beginning of savings, which is an important behavior that we want to really nurture in kids. And when you get into the teenage years, it is starting to get into, of course, peer-to-peer payments. So we start helping teens in this area, but the rest continues. So savings continues, wise spending, donation. We have partnerships with charities. And also, finally, we start looking at the future, and investing is an area that we'll be looking into. So we want really to lay the groundwork so that when a teenager becomes adult, they are well equipped to get into their adult life with money skills.
Now, you've done a number of funding rounds over the years. I'd be interested to know how you found the current one, given the sort of mood around financial markets right now.
Well, it is very challenging. So the market is extremely challenging outside. We found this round, we went through quite a difficult period. I will not list between the war in Ukraine, inflation, interest rate rises, etc. So there was a lot of changes in the landscape. But I think in the end, what mattered was our belief in our mission to make every child, everything good with money, our track records, and what we were, when we were looking at the future, the growth ahead. I mean, this market is still in its infancy. We have pioneered it. And I think that the combination of these three elements made the round possible and great, with 55 million, which is now added to the 81 we've raised over 10 years in the group. So I think we're really well equipped now to continue on our mission.
And you've got some good long-term shareholders with you.
Indeed, yeah. So we have of the first round, Edison, a US group, and Revaya, a French group, have reinvested in the business today. And we have a new investor called Nexi. Nexi is the leader in payments in Europe. They are present in 25 countries. They process 65% of European customers' transactions. And they have also an interesting history because they launched a product called Yap in Italy, which is a payment app, for under 30s. So they were already exposed to our space, if you want. And so this partnership with Nexi and the continued partnership with our Series A investors will allow us to continue expanding into Europe and to continue building the gold standard of product in this space.
All right, Alex, we have to leave it there. It's been fascinating talking to you today. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Still to come here on Ian King Live. We'll have a look at how global markets are doing this Thursday morning. Don't go away.
So this photo was taken in North India, in a place called Spiti Valley. Mm-hmm. We were tracking the snow leopard since morning, and the snow leopard spotted this group of ibex and it pretty successfully stalked uphill from the ibex, and then and this photo, it's kind of chasing them down, trying to bring one of them down. So
did it catch them?
no, it didn't.
Okay. How did you capture it?
So I was standing in the opposite cliff face. So this is happening. So there are two parallel cliffs. So this was happening on the cliff face opposite to me. And in India, you have tigers, you have leopards, you have Asiatic lions. Snow leopards has always been the holy grail in terms of photographing cats, and it's been my dream at least for a few decades to see one, right?
Yeah.
And to have a moment like this happen in front of you, it's really really
some of
lucky.
the pictures actually while we're talking to you. Obviously, they thought that this was the best. They're all going to be shown, I think, in the Natural History Museum.
Yes.
Is that right? What makes a good photograph?
So I would say that you need to captivate or engage a person looking at the photograph. A good photograph would spark curiosity to know a bit more.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Symmetry is awesome. It sparked the curiosity of that person to learn a bit more about that species or that landscape, and hopefully that curiosity would then lead to empathy and support to kind of keep that intact. I'm planning a few more trips early next year, so hopefully some good images from there as well.
Yeah, and that I'm guessing you like the symmetry on that one as well.
That's wonderful.
Isn't it? It's a beautiful photograph, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Well, as was the case in recent sessions, the gilt market is centre stage this morning again as the bank's gilt buying programme enters its final 48 hours. The 10, 20 and 30-year gilt yields all hit multi-year highs yesterday. So far, they're largely unchanged, obviously keeping close watch on those throughout the morning here on Sky News. Well, on the foreign exchange market, sterling did earlier on give back some of the gains that it made yesterday, but it's back in positive territory right now. The pound up a third of 1% right now against the US dollar and just over a tenth of 1% against the euro. Meanwhile, the euro is up a quarter of 1% against the dollar. On the equity markets, well, last night's losses on Wall Street were followed by declines across the Asia-Pacific region, with Tokyo, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Mumbai, Sydney and Singapore all lower. Well, in Europe, equities have traded largely to the downside earlier this morning, but as you can see, they've all crept into positive territory now. The DAX showing a clean pair of heels there to some of its peers, up 0.75%. The MIB Milan up nearly 1% right now. Talking points in Europe this morning include Südzucker. Shares of Europe's biggest sugar producer are down by 3.5% in Frankfurt. That was after it failed to lift its profits forecasts earlier today. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 is also just about in positive territory, some 10 points to the good. Consumer and industrial stocks have been weighing on the index, and actually earlier on this morning, the FTSE hit its lowest level since April last year. Well, among leading blue chip gainers is Entain. I mentioned them earlier on in the programme. They're up on the back of that trading update, and that's dragged up rival Flutter Entertainment in sympathy, the owner, of course, of Betfair and Paddy Power. On the downside, Taylor Wimpey is leading blue chip fallers. That's following yesterday's downbeat assessment of new housing demand from its rival Barratt. With Taylor Wimpey shares off nearly 3% right now. As ever on a Thursday, there are a number of stocks that have gone ex-dividend today. In other words, they're trading for the first time without rights to the latest payout. And among those going ex-div today includes WPP and, as you can see on the screen there, Spirax Sarco. Very good engineering company, that based down in Gloucestershire. Well, after 3 consecutive daily falls, the oil price has rallied this morning. A barrel of Brent crude will currently set you back $93.08 a barrel. That is up a little under 0.75%. Well, joining me now is Mike Bell. He's Global Market Strategist at JP Morgan Asset Management. Mike, welcome to you. One of the things that caught my eye yesterday was this talk in market.
From SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Check me out.
He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match, people. I have met my match, Miss Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of the darkness. The of darkness.
So what did that
myself and the world will adjust. And 2019,
forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on the CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
The best radio show.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Star Radio. We don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And I sabi you know. Just have fun.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Star Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Hey there, this is Archie, and it is Star Radio UK and the morning show.
This is Star Radio. This is UK. Star Radio UK. This is Star Radio UK.
Welcome. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Star Radio. Star Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Welcome.
Love for you runs deep. All of you makes my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am. Same God now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you you will never change. You remain the same to the end, to the end. You are God.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. I want to welcome you to the greatest program in the whole wide world, the Star Radio UK Morning Show. Great Are You Lord by Edith Morrison playing in the background. And whatever the situation or your challenges might be, remember one thing for sure: we serve a God who is alive, and somewhere, if you believe in Him, somewhere, somehow, things do work. But once again, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. I salute you all.
All of you
my heart beat. You make a dog fade.
Well, from now till 1 o'clock, I'm going to bring you the morning show. But let me say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, Mr. Francis Guy, my able producer. A special good morning goes to Kojo D. Kojo, I hope you are doing very well and the family as well. To my brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen, massive good morning to you. Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, good morning. Hey, Dr. Martin, I hope you are doing very well as well. I salute you all.
You make a dog fade.
My special greetings go to Moiwa, good morning. And then to Aziz, all the way in the USA. Anthony Dedeji in the USA as well, good morning to you. Miss Gold, how are you doing? Good morning.
The hand that made me who I am.
And let me express my special greetings to Amaya Ajiregene. Amaya, I hope you are doing very well. And Bishop Adesola, good morning to you. And to all my wonderful listeners in the Americas, those of you in Europe, those of you in Asia, those of you in Australia, those of you on the African continent, I salute you. Great deal. Thanks for the patronage. Well, if it is the first time of tuning in on a Thursday edition of the morning show, this is how the program goes. And those of you who have been on several times, you know how the drill is like, but for the sake of those who are tuning in for the first time, let me do that. I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. And then after that, we'll continue with some music and then bring you updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki at 11 o'clock. It then continues from there where the chat, after the chat with Mr. Olayomi Koiki, we'll look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. And as I say all the time, from archaeology to zoology, from Accra to Zanzibar, if it's making the headlines, why not? We're going to touch on it. And then we'll continue from there and go on to 12 o'clock when the lines are open for you to add your voice to the discussions. The program will continue looking at all the stories across the globe. It's 1 o'clock when the curtains are brought down for the end of the program. So in a gist, that's what's going to be happening today. Of course, I'm going to bring you lots of music during the course of the program as well. But do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. Once again, welcome to the show. Okay, the quote for the day says, your character tells others who you are. It's straight and simple. Your character tells people who you are. Who are you? I know you are my lovely listeners and I love you to bits there as well. Okie dokie dow, let's crack on. Well, straight on moving on to the weather front, let's look at what is up with the weather. When I was leaving, I was like, is it going to be raining? I got some laundry out there. I'm like, so contemplating and then moving up and down there. However, I decided, you know what? You cannot try this weather. This is London weather. Bring it in. But let me tell you what is going to happen. It's going to be there's going to be cloud. Cloud will gradually fragment through the day, allowing sunny spells to break through in the afternoon. Now this evening will start with patchy cloud and clear spells, but cloud will tend to thicken overnight. It will become largely overcast for most towards dawn, but it should remain dry. Now, when it comes to the temperatures, a bit warmer than of late. 18 degrees tops and the lowest 10 degrees. UV level is going to be lower. Pollution is going to be low as well. Sunset 0:20. My apologies. 18, 12 hours and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:20 hours. Okay, dokie do. So that is the end of the weather forecast for you. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break and I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned. Don't you worry. The music, I'll bring you the full length when we take a break.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'm keeping navigated. I promise I'll be on the Star Radio Travel Update. That comes to where every weekday from 10:40. It's on 10:46 from the House of London. It is Star Radio UK. Now let's look at what is happening on your travels. And as I say all the time, you can share with us wherever you are, because we are a worldwide listening radio station, and therefore whatever you say in your particular area might benefit somebody who is listening to it, who has not got a chance to know what is happening around them. Okie dokie do. Yes, here in London, the underground has got Metropolitan line, has got minor delays. Let me bring you details of that. Minor delays between Harrow on the Hill and Aldgate due to an earlier 40 train at Baker Street. Good service on the rest of the line. Now when it comes to the Northern line, no service between Kennington and Battersea Power Station while they fix a faulty tunnel ventilation. Good service on the rest of the line. The other side, all the other underground lines are in good service. However, London Overground has got severe delays between Willesden Junction and Clapham Junction while they fix a signal failure in the Shepherd's Bush area. Good service on the other routes. London Trembling is no service between Phipps Bridge and Reeves Corner due to a power failure. Good service on the rest of the tram network as well. That aside, DLR is in good service. Now moving on straight to the major roads in London, A4, Central London Red Route and South Circular have all got closures. However, A21 and North Circular A406 has got serious delays. If you can avoid that, do your best to avoid that. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise. Our board. Now moving on to the river bar this morning, I can tell you shortly, good service throughout. Now let's move on straight to London Cable Car and good service there as well. Now the final segment of the travel update, as you know, the National Rail, keep your eyes on the roads. Yes, what is happening there? Avanti West Coast has got reduced timetable. Greater Anglia has also got minor delays. Southwestern Railway, minor delays on some routes as well. And then Thames Link, minor delays there. Also, First Transparent Express has got amended timetable, so check before you leave. That aside, all the others have got good service. So on that note, once again, I will say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Star Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and is now gone 9 minutes to the top of the hour. Let me say good morning to Miss Gold. I hope you are doing very, very well. Yeah, it's been quite a time. Last week I was off, and then I came back and I've not seen you on. I hope you are doing very well as well. Have a lovely day. How is the UAE? Yes. Okay, now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as what? Global Trotting. Yomi will be posting more stories there that we're going to be looking at as well. But for now, let's move on. When it comes to Nigeria, Wiki vows never to accept Northern dominance in PDP. Wow. How is that going to fare for them? Okay, allow us function without pressure. The CJN tells politicians, that is the Chief Justice, the CJN is the Chief Justice, okay, of Nigeria, is saying that it should allow the judiciary to function without pressure. We'll be looking into that story as well. It's quite an interesting one. Court jails film producer Sean Egbegbe 7 years for fraud, and Senate to issue arrest warrant on 252 agencies over 5 trillion naira service wide votes. Now that is quite an interesting one, but we'll be looking more into that as the program unfolds. Yomi is going to tell you a summary. Those of you who missed the Niger Voices yesterday, so it was a lovely program there, but more will be told about it. Now, vacancies to pay and allowances of lectures others from 2024. So what are they trying to say? Are they saying that all the time that they've been at home, they're not going to be paying that, or they're going to pay that but it's going to be in arrears, and therefore come 2024 they'll pay those ones? So come on, get back to work. Is that what is going to happen? So is ASU back on track now? Yes, we'll be looking at all those stories. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to exactly 10:54. And let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well. So moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds this morning. Well, Institut Français in Ouagadougou vandalized in Mali coup protest. Now, broken windows and doors, security guards, rooms set on fire, computer equipment burnt or looted. This is what the French Institute looks like. Okay, interestingly, because the French are fallen out, or the Malians are fallen out with France, and therefore they decided to go to their institute, one of their institutes. I would call it like in Ghana or Nigeria, they call it the British Council. I mean, yes. Maybe the British Council Library or something of the sort, to go and just devastate the whole place. Now we're bringing you more on that. As Mali got to a point where now they might want to even become part of the Commonwealth instead of being linked or having still their umbilical cord connected to that of France. Well, we'll be looking more into that. So come your way, Starr Radio UK. Uganda hosts African health officials over Ebola outbreak. Well, I hope that the scientists, we got best scientists, you know, we got them all. But I hope that they put their heads together to find an answer to what is happening in our part of the world. And in Chad, new interim prime minister vows freedom of rights. Yeah, we'll be looking into that as well. In our place, when they talk about freedom, I remember Buhari going to the UN talking about freedom of speech, and but you dare say Jack, and then you'll be nipped. Oh well, so maybe when it comes to Africa, when we say freedom, it's got a different interpretation. Now, last Monday, I did talk about this chief, Dom Pim, Pepesa chief, who was threatening to name some people who are, or some government entities who are being involved in galamsey. That's illegal mining. Now, you know what is happening to him? His family house has been burnt down and his bodyguard injured. Why are these people, if what the person is saying is not true, why don't you sue the person? Why don't you sue the chief? So that means that there's an alibi of truth in what he is saying. What about that? Well, and on the IMF deal that Ghana is looking at, because at this particular point, they are saying that they are under serious duress. Well, the president's budget must be cut. That's what the former president is saying. Now, if he was the one in office now, will he agree to that? If he will, and we will look at that story as well. And then GRA shuts 16 businesses over e-VAT invoicing. Those are some of the stories making the rounds in Ghana as well. Restructuring Ghana's debt, 94% of tier 2 pension may be affected. Oh my world. So if you want to go on pension, thinking that you managed to save a lot for yourself, my goodness, that might not happen. But what do you think about all that? This is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Chief State Attorney Evan Kelson asked retired Justice Honyenuga to reject Opuni's excuse notice. Well, so the banter goes on when it comes to Opuni, the former boss of Cocoa Board, and everything that is going on. I'll be bringing you more on that front. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Moving on straight to other parts of the world to look at some of the stories making the rounds there as well. In other parts of the world, well, fresh strikes in Kyiv as Putin expected to meet Erdogan. Now, both Kyiv and the northern city of Mykolaiv have been hit, damaging critical infrastructure, Ukrainian officials have said. A Russian annexation condemned by UN General Assembly. The overwhelming vote saw 143 countries condemn Russia's attempt to annex 4 regions of Ukraine. Okay. Is it slavery? It is occupation. What will you tell me? It happened some time back. Now, is it happening now? Well, a repeat of history where colonization is taking place. So that is our area. Because we think that we can control that area to protect ourselves. Is that what is happening? U.S. and Mexico make deal to ease Venezuela migration. Thousands of Venezuelans will be allowed to enter the U.S. by air with the aim of easing pressure at the border. Interesting. I don't know how the Republicans are going to be taking that. Now, Alex Jones told to pay $965 million to Sandy Hook families. Well, this man went on a rampage saying, well, you know what? All those parents who were crying, shedding some tears because they've lost their kids during those shootings that took place, were all faking it and stuff like that. And now he was taken to court and he is sued. Now he's been fined up to a tune of $965 million. He said, well, I don't have the money. So what would they do to me? Really? So we'll see what will happen to him. I don't know whether they have to sell his estates or everything that belongs to him and then try to use it to defray the amount. And if he can't pay, then he's chucked into a prison as well. Well, it should serve as a deterrent to people who behave that way, who are not, how do I want to put it, sensitive to issues or events when they are going on. Changing Prime Minister will be disastrous, warns Foreign Secretary. James Cleverly says Liz Truss will stick to her economic plans despite Tory unrest over her tax cuts. Now, looking at what is happening here in the UK at the moment, it looks like before we say Jack, Liz Truss might be looking at a way out of number 10. But would it be wise for, or would it better the chances of the conservatives if they go on to get rid of Liz Truss, or will they just keep her on? And meanwhile, we will be saying that when they go for elections come 2 years time, maybe their fortunes will be so damaged. But what do you think? Okay, housing slowdown warning after mortgage rates rise again. The warning comes as the Bank of England says the numbers struggling to pay mortgages could hit a 15-year high, and that is scary. Royal Mail staff begin first of 19 days of strike. So if you are mailing something, you have to check it out. You have to check it out. And especially those of you who like mailing Christmas cards and birthday cards and stuff like that, it's about time you do so. When it comes to Nigeria Appeal Court to deliver judgment in Nnamdi Kanu's bid to quash terrorism charges today. We'll be following it very closely. Yomi will be telling us more about that. It's 2 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's enjoy this music and then we'll come back to you. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
We call you Emmanuel. You are the first. The Alpha and Omega. That's why we bow down and worship you. And we lift you high, and lift you
Okay, something lovely from the one and only Pastor Theodore Boache and San. This morning, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to exactly 5 minutes past the top of the hour. And you know that by this time, I have the one and only Esther, the White Lion, in the house. But let me say good morning to Moyiwa Osunu guys. Says good morning, everyone. And how are we doing? We are all doing very good. And we hope you are doing well. Nigeria has not happened to you. But let me take the opportunity to say good morning to Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Yomi, good morning. Yomi, I can't hear you. Okay, while we try to get Yomi to line up his audio feed, just continue to share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. So let's see whether we can hear him. Hello, Yomi. Okay. Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Thank you very much. Thank you. How are you doing, sir?
Doing very well. It is a beautiful morning as usual. And I say good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the world, and welcome to Star Radio UK, the Thursday edition, the 13th, 5 minutes past hour, just about 5 minutes past 6 a.m. in New York. And I'll slightly come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Yes. I hope the family is doing very well.
Well, the school run has already been done as usual. And if you look at the time now, that means that they are just getting ready to be going for their lunch, as against about 20 million Nigerians that are currently out of school. When you go to every part, I was listening to one of our media campaigner for the Yoruba self-determination. She's actually based in Germany, and she was asking some thorough question. Are we really sure that we have a government that is working, for everyone, or do we have government that is working for the few? When you look at, the situation, it's kind of a painful. When I was watching a video, and we might play that a bit of that soundtrack later on. She was talking about the damage that they've done, where we were discussing, the vessel that was taking the crude oil. Yeah. She was talking about the environment doesn't have, the road doesn't have, the education. We will play a bit of the sound clip later on. But for now, as I can say, the family is doing very well, and I hope yours are doing great as well.
Oh yes, everyone is doing very, very well on my side, and I hope that all our listeners, you are all doing well. As we say on this platform, Nigeria has not happened to you. And good morning once again. Yes, let's quickly just for those who missed out on the Niger Voices yesterday, and again, let me sincerely apologize for those of you who missed out on those who listened to us on the YouTube channel. It wasn't working yesterday. The technical team were working on it, and we couldn't get it through. But we apologize. But Yomi, can you just give a quick summary of what you discussed yesterday on the Niger Voices?
Well, Niger Voices comes up every Wednesday on Star Radio UK from about 1800 hours to about 8:30. And as usual, we've gone back again to the conversation on the table. 2023 is fast approaching. What are the stakeholders? Are the stakeholders the politicians, or the stakeholders the indigenous people, that also wants to exit Nigeria? We still have, millions of Nigerians that believe that Nigeria can be great. Millions of Nigerians that believe that the unity of Nigeria is still non-negotiable. But the question on the table is, how do you work out, now that we have the self-determination that are really saying that, they have been part of Nigeria for 62 years, and having an independent country is not a crime. So, the conversation was more or less about asking those questions as the election is approaching, and likewise, as the Yorubas are saying, we would declare ourselves out of Nigeria. And the question again is, since Buhari did not respond to that letter, that is taking the Yoruba, movement into the next phase of the agitation, which is, the super rally and the declaration that will probably be announced, during that period. But as you can tell, it's not just the Yoruba that are also clamoring, to exit Nigeria. Later on today, we should be getting, the news out of Abuja in terms of the Court of Appeal in Abuja that will deliver a judgment in an appeal instituted by the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, seeking to quash terrorism charges brought against him by the federal government of Nigeria. So if you have missed that, you can go back on the Star Radio UK social media, on Facebook, on our App Store, and you'll be able to listen to Niger Voices. But next week, we continue with the same conversation. Is Nigeria for you, or are you now claiming to be an indigenous person as against what the colonial did by joining us together, forcing us together, squashing us together, and calling it Nigeria? Who really is a Nigerian? What is the language of Nigeria? What is the culture of the Nigerians? These are the questions that the real Nigerians, that are the indigenous, are asking themselves. But as the campaign continues, we will also continue to discuss that, which was part of the conversation yesterday on Niger Voices.
Well, so listeners, if you did miss out on that, that also was discussed. You can go back to the social media platforms and then listen to it to equip yourself with information. Now let's come quickly straight to the appeal, the Court of Appeal in Abuja, that is supposed to deliver a verdict today as to whether it's going to be quashing Nnamdi Kanu's charges of what we call him terrorism and stuff like that. Now this is an institution where we know that the those who are holding Nnamdi Kanu, what are their name, or what is the name of the DSS? They when the court ruled that he needs to be, even his apparel that he uses to come to the courts should be he should be allowed to be changing it. They were not listening to it. They will come in. They are like a law to themselves. But do the legal team of Nnamdi Kanu believe that the courts can do something for them at all?
Well, the leader legal for Nnamdi Kanu, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, yesterday confirmed, that later on today, Onyedo Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that they received notification from the Court of Appeal Abuja, that there will be a judgment in just about 4 hours, about 2 p.m. later on. So we will probably be coming back with that update tomorrow when we join you in the morning. The question you asked is, will there be, a fair judgment? In as much as there is a lot of pressure, it seems the case of Nnamdi Kanu is a pressure cooker to the federal government, because the reason why, you cannot go and kidnap somebody like, Buhari during his military, era as a dictator in 1983. We are no longer in that, dispensation. You can't just, even if you need someone, you must go through the court process of the country wherever the person is, and request that you want them back into the country. But that was not actually what happened. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped, rendition back to Nigeria. Nobody knew where he was until he surfaced in Abuja. And the question now is, what guarantee did the federal government put in place in Kenya? How was he kidnapped? What are the, the Kenya government are saying that, as far as they're concerned, Nnamdi record is still showing in Kenya, but already, Nnamdi Kanu is in Abuja in the custody of the DSS. This was what President Muhammadu Buhari did when he wanted to kidnap Umaru Diko. It seems a lot of people have forgotten the history of that. Umaru Diko wanted to be kidnapped here in London. That was foiled, and that depend on the information that was quickly passed on to the British police that stopped the Nigerian Airways that wanted to remove Umaru Diko. We are not saying that whatever Umaru Diko must have done in the past was right. We are not saying whatever the allegation, because as far as the Biafrans and the legal department of Nnamdi Kanu are saying is, even if the government believe that there's a question to be asked from Nnamdi Kanu, you do not kidnap him. So we hope there will be a fair judgment, since there shouldn't be any interference from the federal government and the judiciary. But all that, Nigerians and the international community, it also seems that the federal government, we don't know. Remember that there's already a human rights arbitrator for Nnamdi Kanu from the United Nations. So it looks like things might be going his way, and we're looking forward to getting that update later on at 2 p.m.
Okay. Listen, at Starr Radio UK. I was trying to find out. There was one story that this morning I came across, and that was pertaining to a statement that the CJN, that's the Chief Justice of Nigeria, had made, saying that politicians should stop. Get away from influencing their way of adjudicating. And when I saw that story, plus what is going to happen today on the case of the appeal of Nnamdi Kanu, I was thinking, whoa, okay, maybe the verdict might go in the favor of Nnamdi Kanu, and that's why the CJN is saying that, look, guys, leave us alone. We are sitting to adjudicate and just allow us to do it. But I don't know. I'm trying to, whilst you were talking, I was still trying to see whether I can find that piece, that statement that has been released. I don't know whether it's been, whether they've quickly just taken it off. I'm not sure, but I was trying to find it. But it's what's that? Yeah, go on. Yeah, well, I mean, you're quite right. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, as we know, was sworn in just I believe yesterday, from the federal government. With the current CG, as we have it right now, is Chief Justice. We had Tanko earlier, but Tanko has actually left now. We now have yes, I'm quite right with that. Buhari has actually sworn in the new Chief Justice of Nigeria. And I believe what they're trying to do now is probably to put the pressure down, with what is happening in the Southeast as the election is coming. Yes, Buhari sworn in Ariwola as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, after his confirmation by the Senate on the 21st of September, 3 months after his appointment by the President. President Buhari, sworn in, Olukayode Ariwola as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. The news agency of Nigeria report that the swearing in of Ariwola follows confirmation by the Senate on the 21st of September. But the question is, are we going to see a different, ways of how the government wants to handle, probably not just the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Remember that the Yorubas are still there, that wrote a letter that the government refused to respond to. What will be the outcome of that is the question in the lips of the current Chief Justice of Nigeria. Because since there is a right to self-determination, and as of yesterday, there was a big confrontation between the military in Ojaudon that was asking those that were putting on a sticker on their vehicle of Yoruba Nation to remove that. The tension was very high, but the situation was eventually calmed down when the Yoruba movement, team that were traveling in that axis of Ogun State refused that they will not be, bullied by removing a sticker that have a Yoruba Nation on it. Well, you want to know more of what is happening there? Well, I tell you that you believe in the cause, people just continue with it. I mean, people have a sticker of Yoruba Nation on their vehicles. I mean, people have various sort of tattoos and stuff like that. Can you tell them to take it off? If I decide to go and tattoo Yoruba Nation on my chest and I try to walk bare-chested, are you going to tell me that you're going to cut my chest off or what? Well, we want to know what you think about all this. 18 minutes past 11 the time, Starr Radio UK. Prince OG said Buhari is the head of kidnappers in Nigeria for doing so to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Well, like we said, we'll be following very closely the statement that the CJN has made, that the politicians should just leave them to do their work. How true is it going to be? Are we going to have a fair verdict? I mean, if it's, fair, that is what we're talking about. I was wrong, yes. But if what even just trying to even move Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to that particular country is wrong, they should allow them to say that was wrong. But will we see any fair trial there? Well, we will follow it very, very closely. Now, Believe Yourself channel says, Omo, we showed them yesterday. Oh, I don't know why he showed them yesterday. Okay. The Ojaudon area. Oh, okay. All right. Continue to keep your comments coming through. I promise you one thing for sure, that I'm going to read that. Starr Radio UK. Now, let's move on to some of the other stories making the APC won't hand over to you. Obasanjo tells Igbo leaders. Now, that is a big statement that he has made. Is he saying that even if it happens that Peter Obi wins the election genuinely, APC won't hand over to him? Is that what they are saying? Well, Obasanjo, as we know, the former president, a very good critiques of each of the presidents, whether the dead or the alive. Because I remember it actually asked whether Umaru Diko was still alive when he was in the hospital bed in Germany before he eventually passed on. May so rest in peace. He has actually said something again that is already on the headline. APC won't hand over to you, Obasanjo tell the Igbo leaders. Nigerian former President Olusegun Obasanjo has advised the Igbos to be wary of the promise of the APC government to hand over power to them in 2023. Not literally what you have said in terms of whether the power will be handed over or not should Peter Obi
win, the upcoming election in 2023. What it's actually saying is, the deceit that the APC is giving out now, that we will give room, for you to be the next president, from the Igbo. Remember that Atiku did not zone to the southeast. Neither did the APC have done the same thing as well. So we now have a 3 unit of different tribes. From the southwest we have the Tinubu, we have from the north we have the Atiku, and from the southeast we have Peter Obi. According to report that Obasanjo stated this during a stakeholders meeting held at his residence as usual, a former Minister of Aviation Amechi in South Local Government Area, Anambra State, on Saturday. The former president was reportedly reacting to statement credited to the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who said that President Muhammadu Buhari will hand over power to an Igbo person in 2023 and urge the Indigbo to embrace the APC. Now we know that that is not going to happen because they have not actually, slotted their, their presidential, aspirant to the southeast. Rather, it has come to the southwest. So we now have 3 different, regions: the north, the southwest, and the southeast, all campaigning for the 2023 as more is being discussed. I come back again to you in the studio at exactly 11:20, the Thursday edition of the morning show.
Yes, 11:20, as Yomi said, and it is the updates from Nigeria coming your way on Star Radio UK morning show. It comes your way every weekday at 11 o'clock on the morning show. That starts at exactly 10 o'clock, bringing you all the news from other parts of the world. Okay, now Adeshola says, good morning, Mr. Koiki and Mr. Archie, Bishop. God bless you too. Now Prince Abimbola says, good morning, Mr. Archie and White Lion. It's been a while. Yoruba Nation will definitely happen. How? I don't know. He said, how? I don't know, but time will tell. The incident in Abeokuta was a good one. Kudos to the guys. And Liz Dada says, good morning, Mr. Archie and Mr. Olayomi. Good morning to you, Liz Dada, and to all of you who are on the platform today. We actually appreciate you greatly. Okay, let's go to the ASU strike and lot more. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, it seems the situation with ASU is not going anywhere as we might think, even though just about 48 hours ago we were hearing that there's been a conclusion between the leaders of ASU and the House representative Femi Gbajabiamila. But ASU divided over strike suspension and is now holding their neck meeting. What is going on? Since February, the students have been sitting at home almost coming up to 8 months. Bearing a last-minute change, the Academic Staff Union of University may call off its indefinite strike later on today. But the Court of Appeal at last Friday ordered the union to call off its strike. But the House of Representatives also intervened in the matter, raising the hope that the union may call off their strike soon. But according to what we are getting, 123 branches of the union have completed their congress on the lingering strike. But according to findings, that while some universities voted for the suspension of the strike, others are voting for conditional suspension according to what we have. And we know that Obafemi Awolowo University, Ilefe, the branch did not reach a consensus. A source within the branch says no agreement was reached. Members agreed to follow the decision of the Union National Executive Committee. Remember, we were on strike before the national body declared a strike. So it seems that some of the universities, like Obafemi Awolowo University, are saying that we were on strike even before the national called a strike. So we are not backing out from what the national is saying. So it seems that the situation is now becoming a tense one in a country that value less in education sector that will have been able to help millions of Nigerians to get a better job and have a better life, but rather those that even left university 4 years ago are still depending on their relatives outside in UK and abroad to keep them going, as we have been told so many times by those that call us into the program, saying that my son left university 6 years ago, 4 years ago, and they've not been able to get a job, and that means I have to now feed them and their children to make sure they can continue to live in what we call Nigeria, a country that has almost everything, but yet a lot of Nigerians continue to suffer the negligence of the government. Like I said, I come back again to you in the studio, but when we come back, I'll be now lining up, what was actually discussed, by the young woman that posted on the social media, the reason why she believed that the government must now look into all the corruption going on in the crude oil sector that have actually damaged their environment, but yet they've not been able to get anything out of it. So when I come back, we will line that up, but for now, let me come back again to you in the studio.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Let me read a couple of the comments here as well. Liz Dada says, good morning, Mr. Archie and Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Adax Breaker said, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Adax. I hope you are doing very, very well as well. But now let's go back to Yomi. Well, the theft when it comes to the crude oil. Now we talk about a whole ship that was burnt down because they said, oh, now we found out, and we're asking the question, why didn't they confiscate it and then maybe use it? Because Nigeria continues to produce crude oil. Why weren't they doing so? But I think the day before yesterday we had a friend, Felix, my brother, also phoning in to say that it's because the agencies around them have seen that these people will never use. If they take it, you end up hearing that, oh, a whole ship has even vanished from wherever it was confiscated and stuff like that, and therefore there is no point. So when the security agencies just go in there, they think that the best thing to do is to just destroy it so that maybe it serves as a deterrent to others. But what do you think? We got a special audio that Yomi is going to post or put across, so let's go to him.
NNPC get their own, or that special set of people that get illegal pipe when they take crude. Now they don't shine another illegal pipe, they don't see another one where they shine and go extra bus. They take Nigeria crude for where we for come. We not see lights, we not get water, no good school, no good infrastructure for where we for come. They take our products. Now after the illegal pipe when we say government, they don't see so for different places. They don't even intercede another vessel with crude since about how many days? When the crude number and the crude people inside the crude. Before we wake, they don't put fire. They never investigate, they don't put fire. Now, as if the putting fire not be enough, my people from my community, they smoke when they're in here, they cough blood. Everybody when they go to area where they for born teeth, they cough blood. They eat carbon monoxide since yesterday night. Now, the Minister of Petroleum won't come as I come talk one word. The people when they thief the diesel so, when they thief the crude oil so, the fish pipe pass go escravos. The escravos when they pass, how the village when they pass, no lights, no school. River don't take the village end, but they still see illegal pipe. When you go to Focados, for inside Nigeria, we get Navy, we get Army, we get Minister of Petroleum, we get federal government. Nobody they make can. This is the situation that we are facing in the creek. People they call blood now, and they call government, they call intercede. When I go carry the people there, because if anything happen to them, if anything happen to my people, we are not going to find them easy. We are not going to find them easy. Now when the eye and mighty the thief, one man not going to buy that kind of pipe, or they go thief crude oil. When they thief, we are not give us school, we are not give us light. God will punish you now. And those of you that are involved, who now stop them. Nonsense.
Well, that is actually the anger of a resident in the creek where the crude oil was eventually found, and like you can see in that image behind me, actually already been destroyed already. I'll come back to you in the studio at exactly 28 minutes past. You heard out very well. No welfare, no school, no security. Laying a pipe from the creek to where a loaded tanker like you have seen right here is not a joke. It is definitely a well-coordinated affair. She did talk about, where is the Navy, where is the security? It doesn't look like all that is happening. And these are more reasons why those that are saying that Nigeria is just too big, let us wind it down so that we can take care of ourselves, especially for those agitating for the self-determination.
It is a very, very sad and a serious situation, as the lady said. We're talking about environmental pollution because, as we did establish, that ship was not empty at the time it was burnt. There was crude oil in there. So just burning the crude oil like that, can you just imagine the fume that is coming? And that's what this lady is talking about. People inhaling it and now coughing blood. Now I want some lawyers. To get down there and just assess the whole thing and sue the government. Because the government, they need to sue them big time. And honestly, because I think our leaders, they are failing us. They are actually failing us. I mean, if you still have hope, then well, yeah, I mean, I think that maybe Jesus do your stomach inside proper, because if you look at everything that is going on across, I mean, you look at our leaders and you ask yourself, because just constructing those pipes, as they said, the other time I was just analyzing the whole thing with Frank, and I was telling him that, look, for the main crude oil pipeline, okay, to be tapped, somebody has to be in the main basin to shut it down so that the crude doesn't spill, so that they can connect this pipe to it. So this is a proper, I mean, big people who have actually done this. But I bet you they're all going to be going, I mean, free. Nobody knows who, and they've burned the evidence as well. So what do we do about it? But I want to have your comment on that. It is Starr Radio UK. Let's go back to Yomi for some more of the stories. Over to you, sir.
Well, a very sad one, for the family and friends of, the young man behind the, the background there, named as Rico. Rico, as we know, was part of the Big Brother season 3, from what we know. But yesterday I did saw, his very ghastly accident. He was in the coma, but the news coming out this morning says he has actually passed on. Former Big Brother Naija season 3 housemate Patrick Fakoya, popularly known as Rico Swell, has been confirmed dead. Colleagues who were housemates with him confirmed his death on the social media, this morning. We do know that yesterday it was, there was an involvement in an auto crash leading to his going into coma before he's eventually passed on this morning. May so rest in peace, we say here on Starr Radio UK, and to friends and family of, Patrick Fakoya, popularly known as Rico, that was also in the Big Brother Naija season 3. May your soul rest in peace. We're not sure the cause of the accident, but we do know in Nigeria all kind of reasons could cause the accident, but since we don't have the details, we'll probably leave it like that. That will take me straight to more headline because of the time constraint. At exactly 11:32, 258 billion naira port reconstruction project missing in 2023 budget. IPOB 4 terrorists release demands freedom for Kano. The Federal Executive Committee approved 203 billion naira to MTN takeover of Enugu Onitsha Road. Is coming from Fashola as well. Let's take 2 more headlines and go straight maybe to the social media comeback. Atiku campaign Kaduna. Atiku campaigns in Kaduna, while Wike continue to hold meeting in UK. I'm not sure why UK has been a destination to our politicians, whether it's because it's just 6 hours or maybe because it was our former colony, and that means that all meetings are normally held here. When you look at the history of Nigeria, it seems as much as Nigerians do not understand that the reason why those of us that are campaigning for self-determination are saying that Nigeria had the problem from here in 1957, 1956, when we were getting ready, 57, 58, for the first election. But right here, not too far from Green Park, close to Buckingham Palace, there was another agenda that was actually going on, and that literally means that the first ever election in Nigeria in 1959 was rigged for the Northerners. So it seems that having meeting here in London is just something that our politicians love, so that they can get away from probably people that probably be able to see them. 5 agreed PDP governors led by Rivers State Governor Wike will today meet in London in United Kingdom. Recorder Wike, Governor Seyi Makinde of Kaza of Abia State, Ifeanyi of Enugu State, and Simon Otom of Benue State withdrew their membership of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, insisting on the removal of the national chairman of the party, Ayu, that Atiku have literally refused to do so. So Wike is not happy with the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar after the latter settled for the Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as his running mate. It now seems that even after the meeting in London in September, there's still more meeting to be held here in London. The question is, what has Great Britain really done that we cannot do without them, is the question a lot of Nigerians are asking again. I'm going to take one more, then go straight. Buhari presented an illegal budget for 2023. The African Action Congress presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore, has described the 2023 budget presented by President Muhammadu Buhari as illegal. President Buhari presented a 20.5 trillion naira budget to the National Assembly legislation last week. But Omoyele Sowore, while reacting to the deficit in the budget during his speech at the National Conference of Organized Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, Tinubu did not present. Atiku was not there. And probably saw Peter Obi hugging Showore. I'm not sure why Tinubu was not there, but it would have been nice to see Tinubu right there as well. But it seems Tinubu is continuing to run away from a live transmission with the Nigerians that is asking for the vote as well. The human rights advocate described the appropriation bill as unsustainable, claiming that the deficit has surpassed the 3% required by the Fiscal Responsibility Act. He said, I made a promise that I will not talk about any other candidate but myself. So I want to thank the leadership of the ICANN for demonstrating better judgment than the Nigerian Bar Association, who did not invite the rest of us. So you can see, the narrative. The Nigerian Bar Association neglected not inviting Showore, but this time around, ICANN invited every one of them, but Tinubu was nowhere to be found. Likewise, Atiku as well. So I'm going to come straight to you in just a few minutes, but let's go straight to the social media because of the time constraint, and then we can bring everything. Well, it seems that Sanwo-Olu that has not done so well, especially with the case of our young sister that was killed in Lagos State 7 months ago in February. I'm talking about Bamishe. But Lagos witnessed prosperity under my watch. Reacts as Sanwo-Olu declared re-election campaign. We would like him to deal, with the 500,000 debt that the family are now being asked to pay. But let's go into it. Some people can't come here to claim anything. They don't even know what the governance is all about. We have done a lot, and now people feel it. Well, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, I'm not sure whether the family of Bamishe are feeling it today. If you have not done so much, for justice for her, but declaring that Lagos has witnessed prosperity under his watch, the question is, how was it able that a BRT owned by the Lagos state government allow a kind of a case like Bamishe to have been killed right inside a public transport? And that is something that a lot of us are asking. So now let's go straight to what is trending on the social media this morning. As we say, may Nigeria never happen to you and me. RIP Rico is already trending, as you can tell. He's a very popular person, especially being part of the Big Brother Ninja, where he became well known across the globe. But today is no longer with us, and that's why we say do whatever you can do in your own capacity, because you never know when the life is going to be taken away from you. We operate for long life, but sometimes things just happen. Let's take a look at what people are saying. We lost him, but thanks a lot, guys. God knows better. Again, gone too soon. RIP ex-BB Niger housemate Rico Sway. It seems, my first friend, a pure heart. RIP Rico. That's coming from Uncle Lulu. You can tell, that the pain is going to be felt across Africa and likewise in Nigeria for those that must have engaged in. Again, from the Yoruba nest, RIP Rico Suave. This is so sad. And as we say, when you are alive, do what is best, especially what your mind tells you to do, as you are going to be only here for a short period of time. So let's look at what is trending generally in Nigeria this morning, apart from Rico that is trending. The Institute of the Chartered Accountant is currently having its 52nd anniversary conference in Abuja. We were told that the presidential candidate of the APC was an accountant by training. So by default, this should be his top, yet is absent. Pay attention. That is coming from Kowa Ishaku Yahaya. So again, I'm going to take two more from the social media. Oseni Rafiu, one of the media in Nigeria, Arise TV Morning Show has set a standard in Nigeria broadcasting industry. The Morning Show has become a reference point. In 4 years, we have built a formidable show that has rewritten the history of the TV in Nigeria. A lie with a question mark. A lot of people are saying that they are waiting for Tinubu to be interviewed by Oseni Rafiu, but it seems Tinubu is already running away from that. Let's take a look at what Kingsley Moghalu is not contesting this time around. Remember that he tried it 4 years ago, in the last election. But what is he saying? Nigeria is a country of young people controlled by less than 1,000 old men and less than 50 women. It is not a crime to be old, but it is an issue to be old and visionary. It is the age of one's idea that really matters. Hashtag colonize the future. That's coming from Kingsley Moghalu, a former presidential aspirant as well.
I like that. Yeah, it's there's nothing wrong with being old. I mean, we will all grow old. Yes. Some are getting there earlier or quicker. Others are getting there easy. But whatever it is, we will all grow old someday, somehow. But the issue now is, what do we do when we are in that capacity to impact somebody's life positively? And like Yomi was saying, in this life that we are living, nobody knows how long I've got. I don't know how long you've got. Anything can happen to me anytime. But what legacy am I living? And that's why I'll continue to say that if you believe in a cause, it doesn't matter the challenges that is facing you, please continue to go on it, fight for it, stand for it. And because you are convicted, I tell you, one day maybe you will not see the results of it, but maybe your children or even your children's children will see the good fight that you fought for us. Today, Equator to you as well. Yomi, before we go.
Well, as the campaign continues on the street of the Southwest, as I speak to you right now, live transmission is already on the way in Okeogun, the mega rally. What a massive crowd from what I'm seeing here. As the rally is already ongoing. These are very remote area, but you can tell that development have not touched some of these areas. So stay tuned with Starr Radio UK, as Archie is going to take you to the rest of the program. But for now, I'll be coming up. But if you want to follow what is going on, on the Okeogun Mega Rally, go on the other sister radio. But later on, as well as the Super Rally is going to be announced, we will be getting live broadcast from our team that we are preparing, especially to broadcast for Starr Radio UK. While we are working on that, it looks like they've come out in full with their with their full drums here in Okeogun. But later on Saturday, Imeko will be having their own, while everyone is looking forward to the Super Rally that will be announced by Chief Sunday Adeyemo very soon. And let me just quickly give us some of a bit of his image right there. He was having a bit of exercise and he was able to sell us that, I think, last week, but I wanted to show us that on Monday, but it skipped my mind. But let me just show you.
I hope that his exercise is not like Tinubu's exercise.
No. He's actually proved that.
It's a proper exercise, man.
You can see him right there on the treadmill. The treadmill is actually working, but the one that Tinubu was on was not plugged from what we saw.
Yes, I can see that. You see it? Yeah, this is live. This is not a treadmill. That is okay. Yeah. Bye, Yomi. All right then, listeners. That is Mr. Olayomi Koiki for you, bringing you updates from Nigeria. It's now gone what exactly 17 minutes to the top of the hour. We're going to take a break and then we'll be back. We'll be bringing you more on what is happening across the globe. So stay tuned, don't you go away. Starr Radio UK, it is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agent, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clemens, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. The problem of Africa is the lead. Africa. Who run things, who run things, who run things. Them all go to universities. Universities award them degrees. Big degrees. 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 Big degrees. MSc in stealing. Bachelor of Arts, Mismanagement. Another degree. Masters in looting. MSc in corruption, Bachelor of Science, nepotism, MSc in forgery, another degree, Bachelor of Arts in discipline, MSc in embezzlement.
This is Starr Radio UK.
The best radio show.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Who run things, who run things, who run things. Some of them went to London, London School of Fools, where they were awarded degrees in foolishness, PhD
Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 9 minutes to the top of the hour. This program comes your way every weekday from 10 o'clock.
Independence Square declared that the African is capable of managing his own affairs. That the African is capable of managing his own affairs. We have let Nkrumah down badly, disgraced him in the eyes of the world. Kwame Nkrumah should have said that the African is capable of mismanaging his own affairs.
Well, the question is the African able to manage his own affairs? Or as we've seen, our leaders have always been a curse rather than a blessing unto us. But again, another question I do ask myself when I ponder about issues like that: what role have we played? When we go for elections and we end up getting whatever little monies or whatever monies they give to us and luring us to go vote for them, and we just sell our conscience to them and just go vote for them because we are in desperation, would we want to blame them? Because you know that this person, once it's taking the helm, it's not going to do anything for you, but we continue to just allow them to do whatever they are doing. But what do you think about all that? It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on and let's look at some of the stories making the rounds in other parts of the world as well. Don't you worry, I'll be bringing you some more music during the course of the program, as I did say. But that was The Problem of Africa by the Zongo Man. All right then. So now let's move on straight to other parts of the world, Africa as well, and look at some of the stories making the rounds there. And this one pertains to Chad. The new interim prime minister has vowed freedom's rights. Now, the former Chadian opposition figure Saleh Kebzabo says that the respect of all freedoms and human rights in all their forms will be part of the program after his appointment by the Chadian ruler Mahamat Idris Deby as prime minister to lead the government of national union. Now, Deby named Saleh Kebzabo, 75, a former journalist who ran 4 times for the presidency against his iron-fisted father, Idris Deby Itno, to steer the country back to civilian government. The 38-year-old 5-star general took over after the elder Deby, in power for 3 decades, was killed during an operation against rebels in April 2021. But he has since angered many at home and embarrassed backers abroad by pushing to stay in power beyond an initially promised deadline and contests promised elections. Now, speaking to journalists on Wednesday, Kebzabo promised to accompany the young Itno in a great endeavor the next 2 years of political transition. Now, Kebzabo, a fierce opponent in the last years of the elder Deby's rule, had been swift to recognize his son as leader after his death. Now, 2 leaders from his UNDR party took part in the first transition government named by the junta. Now, Deby's junta had originally declared it would restore civilian rule after 18 months in power, and he had at the first promised not to take part in the election that would follow. But as the 18-month deadline neared, a nationwide forum staged by Deby reset the clock. Now, last weekend, it approved a new 24-month time frame for holding elections, named Deby transitional president for the interim, and declared he could be a candidate in the pool. Interesting one there. Yes. Debbie was sworn in on Monday, vowing to name a government of national union within days. The outgoing premier was 55-year-old political veteran Albert Pahini Padake, who has served for 18 months and had also been prime minister under Debbie's father. He's formally resigned on Tuesday along with his government. So do you think that the appointment of the new interim or union government leader will serve the people of Chad well, and that will bring them to the table where they can look at things properly, and maybe Chad will experience some peace, especially when you got the opposition on board? What do you think? Well, we'll be following very, very closely. You can put your comments and everything there, and I promise you one thing for sure, I'm gonna read that. All right then. So, Starr Radio UK, looking at some of the stories making the round. Now, so on the African continent, well, pictures that is coming from Mali shows broken windows and doors, security guards' rooms set on fire, computer equipment burned or looted. This is what the French Institute looked like after the protesters attack on the 12th of October in Burkina Faso. The French Institute, a major cultural hub in Ouagadougou, was attacked after the coup in early October. The outside Burkina Faso Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Damiba, who had seized power only in January 2022, employees and artists of the French Institute in Ouagadougou react to the destruction of the cultural complex. Artist Kantala laments the destruction, saying that the arson was set us back a bit. Now, people don't know the French Institute welcomes more Burkinabe artists than foreign artists. It is for Burkina, so let's not confuse politics and culture, he adds. Well, so those are some stories coming from Burkina Faso. Let me bring you more in depth into that as well. It says it is a great loss to Burkina Faso after the French Institute in Bobo and Ouagadougou, because all projects were planned for them. Now, on October 1, demonstrations multiplied in the aftermath of the coup d'etat that brought Captain Ibrahim Traoré to power, deposing Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Sadogo Damiba, himself the author of a Bosch 8 months earlier. French buildings, including the French Embassy, the French Institute of Ouagadougou, and Bobo Dioulasso, the country's second largest city, were attacked by demonstrators who accused Paris of protecting Lieutenant Colonel Damiba, whose departure they demanded. In Ouagadougou, the street leading to the institute was littered with broken glasses, broken computers, and burned air conditions. The building is now isolated by a security perimeter installed by the Burkina Faso police, journalists have said. In the entrance hall, the portals and baggage scanners were burned, and the ceiling and walls were blackened by flames. It is the work of real monsters who today cannot even justify the ransacking of places so important for the cultural, student, professional, and artist world, said between two sides. William Sumda, a cultural entrepreneur, dejected by the extent of the damage. All the buildings were ransacked. The two levels of the adult media library, the children's media library, the language center, the exhibition hall, and the two performance halls. Lamens Thierry Bambara, general manager of the French Institute of Ouagadougou. The damage is enormous. We will have to wait for an exhaustive assessment to put a figure on the damage, he said, adding that computers, various other devices including consoles, musical instruments were burned. That is Africa for you. We go on rampage, knee-jerk reaction, brrr, just destroy things. Now we start by burning books, and then we will burn people. Whoever can burn a library, a cultural space, has burned the men who wrote these books, said Salif Sanfo, a cultural operator and former deputy looking at the damage in the library. So what I brought about all that, this all coming your way from Star Radio UK. That was after the coup that took place in Burkina Faso. All right then. So let's move on to one final story before I take you straight to Ghana as well to bring you some of the stories making the rounds there. It's a minute after 12. The time, Star Radio UK, the station, the morning show, the program. I'm Archie. We had Miss Olayomi earlier on with us, and we hope that you join us each day and each time we are on. Don't leave us there. Now, Mali's new constitution strengthens president's power. We always want to give so much power to the presidency. Okay, now let's move on. Now, yesterday I did touch on the headlines where the junta had received a draft constitution, and I said that once we have any details, we'll bring it to the fore. Now, the draft of a new Malian constitution given to the head of the junta strengthens the powers of the future president, who will determine the politics of the nation. Again, the text also rules out the possibility of a federation that will have given strong autonomy to the north of the country, which in the past have been the scene of Tuareg rebellions for independence or for small or for special status. Now, this is a group of people, the Tuaregs, who are thinking that, look, we are thinking that we are being marginalized, we want to leave. Now, the new constitution does not give them the chance to either leave or anything of the sort. Now, Fasini Samake, the chairman of the commission in charge of drafting the text, provided elements of the project in an interview broadcast yesterday, the day before yesterday, and yesterday. The preliminary draft is supposed to be submitted to a referendum in March 2023, as I said yesterday. It is a key element of the vast project invoked by the military to maintain itself until 2024 at the head of this country caught in the turmoil. The current constitution, dating from 1992, states that the government determines and conducts the policy of the nation. With a new constitution, which has 195 articles instead of 122, it is the president of the republic who determines the policy of the nation, and is the government that leads the policy of the nation, said Fasini Samake. The parliament of the assembly will no longer be able to overthrow the government, and in the opposite direction, the president of the republic will no longer be able to dissolve National Assembly. Now, the bill establishes a second parliamentary chamber corresponding to the Senate alongside the National Assembly. It creates a court of auditors. Now, political actors have long agreed on the need for constitutional reforms. The current constitution is seen as a factor in the political crisis in the country, which has seen 3 coups since 1991 and 5 since independence. The political instability is exacerbating the serious security crisis that has been underway since 2012 and the outbreak of independence and Salafist insurgencies in the north of the country. Now, let me ask this question once again. Now, if a group of people who have been put together, or let me put it, tribes, who has been put together to form a nation, looking at it, think that it is not working. It is not working. We don't seem to be living peaceably, and they think that, look, to let sleeping dogs lie, let it just go away. Do you think that is wrong in any way, shape, or form? Or should those people just be quiet and say, well, we are there. Maybe one day God will send Moses to come and deliver us. And do they give them an opportunity if these people are saying that, look, we think that we need to live, or we want to live because of the way our people are failing, that they can go for a referendum, they can call for a referendum, and then the government can find or see the mind of the people there. Now, have the government actually engaged these people who feel marginalized and who are agitating that they want to leave? Those are the questions that leaders have to address. What are their requests? Why do they want to leave? Is it unfounded? Is it unreasonable? It's unfounded, it's unreasonable. Then you can say, no, we will not let you even do that. But when you don't consult these people, then you just sit in your camp or your destiny and say, no, we'll not allow you. I said I want to go. You say, no, I won't allow you. Gradually, one day, when people are pushed to the corner, they get to a point that they bounce back. All right then. It is Starr Radio UK. Now, if you want to join us in the conversation, 5 minutes past 12, yes, call us on 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In Sudan, peoples have returned to school amid political and economic turmoil there. The main reason behind dropping out of schools is extreme poverty in rural areas. And I would like to point out that providing school meals have come to stay, something that they need to see too. And we hope that is done as well. It is Starr Radio UK. 2 more stories from there, and then we'll move on to some stories making the rounds in Ghana as well. Uganda is battling to contain the latest Ebola virus outbreak, which has affected 5 districts and killed 19 people, among whom 1 in Kampala. Now, more than 600 contacts are currently under active follow-up, according to the World Health Organization. An emergency ministerial meeting took place yesterday. Now, African public health officials from 8 nations and the World Health Organization were present to plan cross-border cooperation. It is my sincere hope that working together we can come up with practical solutions to better protect our communities and reduce any chances of cross-border spread of this virus in the spirit of African solution for African problems. Now, Ugandan Health Minister Dr. Jane Ruth Asing has said there. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, interestingly, a news that have just come on: Niger to pump more oil, more crude as pipeline work accelerates. Let's see. Now, masks and helmeted Chinese and Nigerian workers hoist giant steel pipes over mounds of earth further away. Now, smoke below from the blowtorches camouflage in the millet fields. Heavily armed soldiers are on the lookout. In Gaia, in southwestern Niger, near Benin, the largest oil pipeline in Africa is taking shape, nearly 2,000 kilometers long. That's 1,250 kilometers, of which is in Niger. The pipeline is to link the oil wells of the Agadem fields in the Far East, the scene of the deadly jihadist incursions, to the Beninese port of Seme, from where Nigerian crude will be evacuated for the first time. Now, with a modest production of 20,000 barrels per day, Niger, one of the poorest states in the world, became an oil producer in 2011. The black gold extracted by China National Petroleum Corporation is so far transported by pipelines to Zinda, the south central of Niger, where it is refined. Now, initially, Niger had planned to evacuate its crude through the Cameroonian port of Kribi via neighboring Chad before opting for the Benin corridor. Launched in 2019, the project was supposed to be completed in 2022, but the COVID-19 pandemic has slowed it down. Nafio Isaka, the Deputy General Manager of the West African Oil Pipeline Company, WAPCO, the project owner, has said the WAPCO subsidiary of CNPC is now working hard. More than 600 kilometers of pipes have already been laid. That is 51.5% completion rate. The Niger could sell its crude on the international market in October or November 2023. He hopes. More than 700 soldiers were deployed to ensure permanent security of the work, even if a large part of the areas it crosses so far sparred by jihadist violence. A security source told the AFP in condition of anonymity. With the continual collapse of revenues from uranium, of which Niger is a major producer, the country is counting on black gold to boost its budget, much of which is being injected into the fight against jihadist groups in the northeast and west. Now, $6 billion will be invested in the construction of this pipeline. It is the biggest investment of Niger, former French colony, since its independence in 1960. Observes Kabiru Sagari, the director of hydrocarbons at the Nigerian Ministry of Oil. But what percentage of whatever is being used is going to be left with them? Alonje say, Mr. Koiki, that your presenter guy is superb. Oh, Koiki, yes, he is. Kudos to him, Mr. Archie. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. Alonge say, thank you very, very much. It is All Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. 12 minutes past the top of the hour. Now, let me take you to Ghana for some of the stories making the rounds there as well. A couple of stories that I'll be bringing around. So don't touch the dial. Now, last Monday, I did touch on a story where the Pepesa chief was making a statement, actually saying that, well, if those people that he's talking about feel aggrieved, they can sue him. Now, he was saying that, well, these people were involved in illegal mining, known as Galamsey. Well, after that statement was made, and where he was daring them that was going to name them, a few days on, his family house has been burnt down. So the family house of a claimant to the Dumping Pepper's stew, Nana Nyowa Penyin, the fort has been left in ruins following a chieftaincy related disturbance in the community. According to sources, a group of armed men went on rampage, destroying properties and attacking individuals. This follows a statement from the Dumping Pepper's Divisional Council that Nathaniel Dechi, who is holding himself as Nana Nyowa Penyin, the fort of Dumping Pepper's, is not a chief. Mr. Nathaniel Dechi, in an interview granted on Monday, had alleged that the MP for Takwa Nswem and the MCE for the same area and the Western Regional Minister were hindering the efforts as the chief to end Galamsey in the area. So all this while, they never knew that he was not the substantive chief. Like the moment he made us a statement or alluded to that, his family house has been attacked. Is it the perpetrators of this Galamsey, those who are ruining the water bodies and destroying the lands or the environment, are the ones who have attacked this person's property? Now, he claimed that these individuals were also engaging in illegal mining in the area. However, the Dumping Pepper's Divisional Council, in a statement on Monday, October 10, said the council wants to state unequivocally that Nathaniel Dechi is not a chief of Dumping Pepper's. We entreat the media and the general public to disregard any interview by him, as he is not and has never been the chief of Dumping Pepper's. Nana Nyakefole, the third secretary to the council, stated. Now, contrary to the allegation that the MP for the area and others were involved in Galamsey in the community, the council said Nathaniel Dechi is rather the individual involved in illegal mining, as he has sold cocoa farms to illegal miners. And the banter has begun there. It continues. The council wishes to state on record that the said Nathaniel Dechi is the chief architect of illegal mining in Dumping Pepper's. Now, Nathaniel Dechi, with his accomplices on video, were caught discussing strategies to how these illegal miners should operate in Dumping Pepper's. It is also part of his strategy to demoralize and thwart the effort of Honorable Miracle Duka, who had dedicated all his time and energy to fight the Galamsey menace, the council noted in a statement there. Now, following the revelation by the council, some youth in the community are alleged to have attacked the claimant, resulting in the injury of his bodyguard. Now, again, 2 of his men were attacked at the local hospital, while one managed to escape. The other was left in a critical condition. Now, meanwhile, the police have arrested 3 suspects in connection with the disturbance. Well, investigation has to take place and let us know exactly what is happening on that front. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, information reaching me says that some updates will be taking place, and therefore we might have to finish the program a bit earlier than our normal scheduled time. But let me bring you one more story from Ghana. Now, the Chief State Attorney Evelyn Kelson asks retired Justice Honyeluga to reject opponents' excuse notice. Now, the Chief State Attorney Evelyn Kelson ruffled feathers in court on Tuesday when she requested the former Cocoa Board boss, Dr. Stephen Opuni, who is recuperating from eye surgery, should be tried virtually. Now, Dr. Opuni, who had 4 different surgeries in his left eye in September, has been advised to rest his eye to ensure proper healing. The former Cocoa Board Chief Executive Dr. Stephen Opuni and the businessman Seidu Agongo, as well as Agricult Ghana Limited, have been facing 27 charges, including defrauding by false pretense, willfully causing financial loss to the state, corruption by public officers, and contravention of the Public Procurement Act in the purchase of Latovate liquid fertilizer between 2014 and 2016. They have pleaded not guilty to the charges and are now on a 300,000 Ghana cedis self-recognized bail each. Now, when the High Court reconvened on October 11, counsel for Dr. Opuni, Mr. Samuel Kojo, informed the court that his client was unable to make it to the court because he had been excused for 6 weeks due to ill health and had been advised not to get involved in any activity. So, if the courts had said that, why is she pushing for him to appear? It is to get Justice Honyeluga to be able to sit on the case before his tenure ends, his extended tenure ends. Well. It's interesting thing that is happening in Ghana. Well, but it's all Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now let's move on straight to some other stories making the rounds here. As I said, I need to bring the program to a close in the next 12 minutes. Interesting. Okay, a quick one. Now, when it comes to Ukraine, you know for sure what is happening there, but information coming through says that, well, Russia has launched fresh attacks on Thursday morning. Ukrainian officials says hitting a critical infrastructure facility near Kyiv, a 5-story block of flats, was also hit by Mykolaiv. The local mayor says the southern city was massively shelled. Russia's Vladimir Putin is meeting Turkey's President Erdogan on the sidelines of a summit in Kazakhstan. The Kremlin officials said Erdogan was likely to officially offer to mediate peace between Russia and Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukraine's NATO-led allies announced deliveries of advanced air defense weapons to Kyiv, hailed by Ukraine as historic. Now, they think that they having that will also help the case. Well. It is All Star Radio UK. It's your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But still, looking at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, still pertaining to a UN General Assembly, pertaining to the war in Ukraine, the UN General Assembly has condemned Russia's annexation of some 4 states in Ukraine. Now, United Nations General Assembly has voted overwhelmingly to condemn Russia's attempt to annex 4 regions of Ukraine. The resolution was supported by 143 countries, while 35 states while 35 states, including China and India, abstained. As well as Russia, 4 countries rejected the vote, namely Belarus, North Korea, Syria, and Nicaragua. Although symbolic, it was the highest number of votes against Russia since the invasion. Now, last week in a grand ceremony in Kremlin, President Vladimir Putin signed documents to make the eastern Ukrainian regions of Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson part of Russia. The agreement was signed with Moscow's installed leaders of the 4 regions and came after self-proclaimed referendums in the area that were denounced as a sham by the West. Now, the resolution calls on the international community not to recognize any of the Russian annexation claims and demands its immediate reversal. It claims and expresses its strong support for efforts to de-escalate the conflicts through negotiations. Now, they think we've gone past where negotiations can do it for this war that is going on, or we just have to just throw our hands in the air and just get on with it. It is All Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, frustration as Beijing hit by COVID and security curbs once again. Well, when winter seems to be coming, we seem to be having fun. But frustration appears to be mounting in Beijing as the Chinese capital comes under tight security and COVID restriction ahead of a historic Communist Party Congress. Authorities have tightened access to the city, shutting out many travelers, returning residents, and deliveries. Now, others had their movement restricted or were forced to quarantine. Now, it has sparked an outpouring of anger online. Meanwhile, photos of an apparent public protest have circulated. The images and footage show 2 large protest banners unfurled on a bridge in Beijing North Western Haidian district. One read, "No COVID test, we want to eat. No restrictions, we want freedom. No lies, we want dignity. No cultural revolution, we want reform. No leaders, we want votes. But not being slaves, we can be citizens. By not being slaves, we can be citizens." I bet you these are people that will say these are people who have been stoked by the West to do so. The other called on residents to go on strike at schools and work, remove dictator and national traitor Xi Jinping. Oh my goodness, I think this man will be found. They will look for him, they will find him, and the rest will be history. All right then, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let me bring you this one and then we'll move on from there. Alex Jones, I'm told to pay $965 million damages to Sandy Hook's victims' families. Now, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones has been ordered to pay £965 million in damages after falsely claiming the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting was a hoax. The families of 8 victims said and an FBI agent who responded to an attack has sought at least $550 million in the defamation trial in Connecticut. They allege the right-wing radio host misinformation led to a decade of harassment and death threats. Now, 20 children and 6 adults were killed at Sandy Hook's elementary school. Now, Jones, who founded the conspiracy-laden InfoWars website and talk show, argued for years that the massacre was a staged government plot to take guns from Americans and that no one died. He called the parents of victims crisis actors and argued that some of them never actually existed, and now acknowledges the attack was 100%. He now acknowledges that the attack was 100% real, a concession he made in August at a separate defamation trial in Texas. Was it too little, too late? Well, that fine will be great. Now, as the verdict was read out on Wednesday in Waterbury, Connecticut, some 20 miles from the site of the 2012 shooting, many of the families were visibly emotional, with some in tears. So that these tears are all fake. Wouldn't you say so? Now, the 3-week trial was marked by emotional testimonies from a succession of parents. Now, some describe receiving a deluge of online hate. Others said they had to move homes repeatedly for their own safety. A father, McBurden, recounted hearing that people were desecrating his son's Daniel grave by urinating on it and threatening to dig it up. Now, if they wanted to do so, they should have been allowed to do so, and to find out if there was no body there or human remains there. Nigeria has also had evidence that Jones and his company, Free Speech Systems, made millions of dollars selling nutritional supplements, survival gear, and other products on the InfoWars catalog. Now, Jones broadcast himself watching Wednesday verdict and scoffing at the court proceedings. He also appealed to his followers to make urgent donations and pledged that the funds will not go towards his legal costs. The money does not go to these people, he said. It goes to fight this fraud and it goes to stabilize the company. His lawyer, non-parties, told reporters that they will appeal the decision. Now, candidly, from start to finish, the fix was in this case, he said outside the court. Well, let's see what happens. Will his property be sold and what will happen on that front? I've got just 3 moments. Please just bear with me. I will run up the program pretty soon for the upgrades to take place. Here in the UK, a nurse wrote, I killed them on purpose. Trial has been told. But this same nurse is saying that she's not guilty. She's pleaded not guilty. And as accused of murdering babies on a neonatal ward, wrote notes reading, I am evil and I kill them on purpose because I am not good enough, a court has heard. Now, Lucy Legby is charged with murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 10 others at the Countess of Chester Hospital in 2015 and 2016. Her trial, my apologies, at the Manchester Crown Court was told the notes were found following a search of her home. Legby 32 denied 22 charges. The court heard the passages were written on posts. It notes and included phrases such as what allegations have been made and by who. Do they have written evidence to support their comments? The notes also contain many protestations of innocence. Prosecutor Nick Johnson KC, no more QCs, KC now, King's Counsel told the jury. Now, one said, I haven't done anything wrong. They have no evidence, so why have I had to hide away? Other notes read, I am a horrible, evil person, the court heard, and I killed them on purpose because I am not good enough. In capital letters, Miss Leslie wrote, I am evil. I did this, the jury was told. Virtually admitting that on that post. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Is it over before it began? And what am I talking about? The Prime Minister. Well, but some members of the cabinet have been saying that changing Prime Minister will be disastrous and bad idea, says the Foreign Secretary. Now, getting rid of Liz Truss will be a disastrously bad idea, the Foreign Secretary has said. As he defended the Prime Minister's economic plans, James Cleverly said the Prime Minister, who had been in office for 37 days, will stick to her plans despite Tory unrest over tax cuts. The fact that her mini budget, which sparked market turmoil, surprised some people is not her fault, he added. Ms. Truss has repeatedly defended the proposed tax cuts outlined last month. There has been speculation that Ms. Truss could be forced out of office by Conservative MPs if she does not change course. Now, but Mr. Cleverly defended her approach, saying that changing the leadership will not bode well for the UK politically but also economically. Now, when asked if the government will make any changes to win over rebellious Tory MPs, Mr. Cleverly said the plan is to grow the economy. He argued that the only way to counteract the powerful and negative economic headwinds buffeting the UK was by stimulating growth. The government will make provisional and tough decisions on spending, Mr. Cleverly said, adding, we're not going to be cutting public services, but some areas will see close to inflation growth. Now, Chancellor Kwesi Kwarteng's mini budget on the 23rd of September, which included 45 billion pounds of tax cuts funded by borrowing, has caused turbulence in the financial market and prompted the Bank of England to intervene to protect pension funds. Mr. Kwarteng is due to set out how he will fund the package and reduce debt on the 31st of October. So we all have to wait till the 31st of October. Halloween day. It's going to be a scary one, isn't it? The Chancellor's statement will be closely watched by markets and Tory MPs as they decide whether to support Ms. Truss' tax cutting agenda. And that is where I bring the program to a close for today. As I said, thank you very much for joining me there. As many of you, those of you on the YouTube, those of you on the Twitter, those of you on Periscope and all the Facebook and on our apps as well. I say massive thank you to you all. But this afternoon, exactly at 6 o'clock, call it this evening, we'll be bringing you a repeat show of the BB Means Business Show by BB Clement. So make a date with her when that program comes your way. On that note, I sign out saying have a lovely afternoon. But let me bring you this song. Well, where is the dollar? Asks who? The Zongo Man here as well. And when that song ends and you don't hear from me, it's me, Archie. Have a top of the day. And thank you for the technical team as well. Bye bye for now.
the dollar?
for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.